What up, my fellow NBA lovers? This is your guy, Marcellus Ease, and this will be a continuation of my series, Jealousy is the Worst Human Emotion. And this will be Volume 2 starring Scottie Pippen, as he is taking jabs at Phil Jackson, Michael Jordan, and Steve Kerr to promote an upcoming book called Unguarded. And in this segment right here, he takes jabs at Phil Jackson for the 1993 playoff series against the Knicks, in which he drew a final play for either Steve Kerr or Tony Kukoc. So Scottie Pippen was not happy about that, and Phil Jackson had every reason to draw up a play for someone other than Pippen, because Pippen was not that guy in clutch moments. And later on in his career, you got to see that, especially when he played it with the Blazers and the Rockets, as he fell short to the Los Angeles Lakers. And even though when he was on the Rockets, he placed most of the blame on Charles Barkley. So Phil Jackson, for the most part, he understood Pippen's mentality, as they don't call him the Zen Master for no reason. But you guys check out this segment, and every once in a while, I'll check in.
Scottie Pippen did not hold back while talking about his new book and Phil Jackson. When talking about a play drawn up for teammate Tony Kukoc to take a final shot, Pippen said of Phil, quote, "It was a racial move to give him a rise. After all I've been through with this organization, now you're going to tell me to take the ball out and throw it to Tony Kukoc. You're insulting me. That's how I felt." A follow-up question was asked if Pippen thought Phil was racist, and Pippen said, quote, "Oh yeah." Scottie also said Phil, quote, "exposed Kobe in a way that he shouldn't have when he first left the Lakers," and wrote about the Lakers guard before returning to coach LA again. There's a lot here. Shannon, what do you make of Scottie saying this about Phil Jackson?
Well, let me take the first part about the play first, Skip.
Okay.
I don't believe that's true. I believe Scottie was frustrated. Scottie had been number 2 for 7, 8 years. Number 1 steps away. Number 2 believes that once number 1 is away, I'm number 1.
That's a bad assumption. You have to earn it. Not only that, in clutch moments, you guys need to look up Scottie Pippen's numbers. He wasn't that guy in a clutch moment.
Because you would have never asked Michael Jordan, not saying that Scottie Pippen was Michael Jordan, but you would have never asked Michael Jordan to inbounds a ball to me. So why, if it's my time, I've been the best player, I was the All-Star Game, Skip, remember, he was the All-Star Game MVP.
He was.
So why are you asking me to do that? And considering what Scottie must understand is that this was never going to go away. This is the one thing that you can't come back from, Skip. He won 3 more championships, but they still go back to this.
Yep.
Skip, Shoeless Joe Jackson has the second highest lifetime.
Man, forget the 3 championships. You could look at the following season. The Bulls started breaking down. It's like they lost a bunch of role players. Scottie could not really lead this team that long. That's why he was begging Michael Jordan to come back. That following season, you see him pointing at his shoes. I mean, this team was 23 and 25 during the All-Star break. And by the time Michael Jordan came back, they were 34 and 31. So Scottie was not leading this team really to anywhere. They were breaking down really fast.
Batting average in baseball history, 358.
Yeah.
But that's not what he's known for.
But that whole team was the Black Sox scandal.
Skip.
Yeah.
You can't, Skip, the worst thing an athlete can do is quit. Ain't no way around it, Skip. I like Pip. He quit. He refused to go in the game. He says, you know what? I'm going to sit right here. Bill Cartwright is begging with him. Scottie, don't do this. Get in the game, bruh. No.
And not only that, they won the game, but the team felt the type of way so bad that they called them out on it when they went to the locker room. Yeah, Scottie Pippen was wrong for that. But that shows you right there why Phil Jackson didn't draw up the play for him. His mentality was off as a leader.
So he quit. And considering Tony Kukoc hit the shot, it's hard to argue with that Phil was placed his trust in Tony.
Yep.
Because he hit the shot, Skip. I just don't I understand that he's selling a book. But some things, Skip, you just don't throw stuff out there like this.
Nope, you do not.
Now, the Kobe thing, I agree with Scottie. Phil was wrong. You don't put the man out there. There's certain things that go on in the locker room, Skip, and that's one of the reasons I haven't wrote a book about my playing life. Because certain things, you just take to your grave. You just chalk that one up and say, you know what, boy, man, we were crazy. We did some crazy things in high school and in college and for sure in the NFL. You just take it to your grave. Even at gunpoint, I ain't telling you jack.
Okay. Got it.
And for Phil to do this, to write a book, and then you go back and coach the guy, but that just goes to show you Kobe's level of professionalism But Kobe didn't give a damn about what you said about him. Kobe ain't never cared about what anybody said about him.
And that shit motivated Kobe. Remember when Phil Jackson called Kobe out for not having any post-up moves that season? It was a season in which that happened, and all Kobe did for like the first half of that season was post guys up, and he was getting like 10, 15 points per game just off of post-ups.
It didn't matter. Mom, dad, brother, uncle, cousin, friend. It didn't matter.
Can you help me win? Yep.
Kobe had a secret. This was Kobe. All that other stuff that's going on, I don't see nothing. All I see is a title. And I see hard work in between for me to get to that title. So what you say on either side, it doesn't even matter.
Okay, I'm going to say this again about Scottie Pippen, and I was there in 1998 covering that Bulls team.
Okay.
Big picture. Everything you're hearing from Scottie now is all about his attempted revenge for The Last Dance, in which he felt shamed by Michael Jordan in that documentary. And
oh, yeah, he definitely did. Once again, I don't know. It's ironic timing, but the whole world was sitting at home waiting for that doc to come out. Shit, they even dropped it earlier. But everybody was watching that. So that was really embarrassing for him. But that's something that he really did. And that showed you the psyche of Scottie Pippen, or just all the things that led up to that team of having that last dance in '98.
in the large part, he was shamed.
Yes.
So now he's going to be as outrageous as possible. He's going to go a little over the edge whenever he's...
Damn, over the edge. I mean, he called Phil Jackson racist. I mean, shit. That's way over the edge. Just to sell a book, he completely threw him under the bus.
Given the opportunity, in this case by Dan Patrick,
Right.
just to create more controversial interest in his upcoming book, which isn't even out yet. But his book is going to be his revenge for The Last Dance. It's
Right.
going to be his answer to The Last Dance.
Yes.
Okay.
I guess Phil Jackson's not going to invite Scottie Pippen to that ranch out in Minnesota for some of that weed.
So we get all of that. But do I think there was some racist component to Phil's decision-making to give the ball to Kukoc? Kukoc had made several late shots that year and one walk-off shot on that same play.
Yes.
So all Phil was trying to do was win the game. And I remind everybody, Kukoc was Jerry Krause's boy. He was Jerry Krause's discovery as the Michael Jordan of Europe.
Yes.
And so if, wait a second, if Phil Jackson is at war with Jerry Krause, why would he go out of his way to spotlight
Thank you.
Tony Kukoc on the last play just because he's white? No, he's Jerry's boy.
Right.
You don't want to do that.
Right.
All Phil was trying to do was win the basketball
Correct.
game. And again,
That's a great point. That is a great point. And Michael Jordan hated Kukoc when he first came to the Bulls because, of course, that was Jerry Krause's guy, man. But Phil Jackson, same thing. He didn't like Krause because I believe, in my opinion, he wanted his position. Because at the time, Pat Riley, with less championships, was able to get a position in Miami, which he was team president and coach. So Phil Jackson was actually after that position with more, trophies on his mantle.
in Phil's mind, Scottie had never been anything but Robin.
Right.
And he wasn't that guy. He wasn't a last shot taker and maker.
Right.
That would be Kukoc's role
Post-Jordan.
Post-Jordan, in the wake of Michael Jordan. That's who you'd want with the ball in his hands. So it makes all the sense in the world. And speaking of Michael Jordan,
that shows you the impact of Michael Jordan. The fact that he played like that and just made so many clutch shots, it was like for years, even today, where it's kind of the unconscious thought of that your best player is the guy to take that last shot. I mean, all this came from seeing Michael Jordan just do it over and over, but not every guy is built like that.
I don't think he thought Phil was racist because all Jordan did was simply quit prematurely just because his coach had been done wrong by Jerry Krause and Jerry Reinsdorf. He made it clear that whole 1998 year, you run off my coach, you run off me.
Right.
And he stood by his word. And he was retired for 3 years from age 30, what was he, 6 at that point, or 30, really 5.
Yeah.
You know, those are still 3 fairly prime years of his career. He did not play basketball just to uphold his allegiance to Phil Jackson. So did he think Phil was racist? I don't think so.
And even after that call, Skip, Scottie, they were a blown Hugh Hollins call away from getting to the Eastern Conference Final.
They were.
People don't really. Scottie Pippen was really good skill. They only lost 2 fewer games that year without Michael than the year before when they had Michael and went to the NBA Finals. Scottie Pippen played really, really well. He was the All-Star Game MVP.
Yeah. So was Russell Westbrook. That shit doesn't really mean that much. But at the end of the day, if you look at the following season, which Shannon is not mentioning, the 94-95 season, that team was breaking down. I mean, they were the same exact team. Just Scottie was not that guy.
Got it. And to your final point about Kobe, only the silver-tongued devil, quote unquote, who was Phil Jackson, could manage to talk Kobe back into his inner circle after he had done Kobe wrong by airing dirty laundry in his book. What?
But,
you got away with that? Only Phil could do that one.
But I'm not surprised Phil went back. Phil was not going anywhere in which he did not have 2 great players. That's why he took a role at the Knicks. He ain't coaching the Knicks.
No.
He ain't messing up his tarnish. He ain't messing that up, Skip.
Agreed.
He had Scottie and Mike. He had Shaq and Kobe. And then he came back, we can get Pau Gasol? Okay. I got one of the 2 best, whether you say it's LeBron or Kobe, but you had one of the 2 best players. You get another guy to go along with him, I'm right back in business. Phil Jackson ain't slick.
Yeah, he's not slick, but, you know, he knows his players. That's one thing that sticks out. And with Scottie, he knows Scottie's psyche. And once again, you guys can go look up Scottie in clutch moments. He was not really that guy. He's not that efficient. And Scottie got to be careful with some of the stuff that he's putting out. He's pretty much NBA royalty, and some of the decisions he's making is pretty much sullying his name. It is what it is. Until next time, you guys stay safe. Peace.